Hello and welcome to Froch on Fighting with me, Carl Froch. Right, I wasn't going to say anything about the boxing event shit show between, who was it, Tommy Fury and KSI last night. I know that Logan Paul also boxed some geezer that just stood there with his guard up and didn't throw a punch. But I want to talk about the KSI Tommy Fury fight because Tommy Fury is actually a professional fighter. So, by popular demand, I'm going to give my opinion. Enjoy.
So just give me some positives about last night, because I know you've been really negative. I've heard all your negative about it this morning, but just give us some positives about last night's boxing.
Well, listen, last night's boxing, I don't like calling it boxing, but the classing it as a boxing event, the reason I say I don't like to call it boxing is because I don't want to mix in the MisFits Boxing with actual real boxing, which we've talked about and discussed at length on numerous occasions. So I do think it should be separated. And you know, the MisFits stuff and what we saw last night, I think people are now starting to realise that actually it's not professional boxing. It's crap. It's really bad.
Play, isn't it? They're playing
it's not even play fighting, it's rubbish. But positives, before I start writing it off, the event itself, the production, the promotion, Callis Island, well done, strutting about like the mafia boss from Casino, what's his name? Robert De Niro, Sam Rothstein from Casino. He was strutting around, wasn't he, just in his dodgy suit with his hair slicked back. But he put on a good show. It was a great production. The venue in Manchester was absolutely packed, sold out. KSI, when he did his ring walk, came in his green Lamborghini. So you can see why it's appealing to a lot of young kids. There was a lot of kids, a lot of my son's friends from school. They got round in like 10s and 12s of them to sit and watch the event. They was all sitting there with the popcorn and they ordered some chips and burgers from a local takeaway. And they was all sitting there getting excited for this event. So in terms of the production, the pyrotechnics on the night, the ring entrances, the celebrity presence, the crowd presence, the money that must have gone into it, I think they spent a lot of dough on it and they make it look good. It was all glitz and glamorous. It was on DAZN, the broadcasting channel, DAZN. But no Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn was there. He was sat ringside. I think he was sat there with his daughter actually. He likes to keep his face in the mix, doesn't he, Eddie? But Callis Island was promoting it with, I believe, KSI's promotional company, and they did a fantastic job. So fair play to them for that. The problem then is when these guys actually get into the boxing ring. When they first get into the boxing ring, it's just crap. The fighting's rubbish. But I'll go back. What's his name? Logan Paul boxed a guy called is it Dillon, Danis? I don't even know who it was. I'm not interested in who it was. But the guy got in there with his vertical forearm and stood there and allowed Logan Paul to just tee off on it. Now Logan Paul can throw a punch. He throws a bit of a wild swingy punch, but he has a go. He was looking for the body shot of his right hand. It was trying to kind of set a few shots up, but nothing really happened. Nothing worked, and it was kind of him just punching a body bag. The guy that was in front of him was just vertical forearms, not really trying to do anything. He threw a couple of shots, but it was rubbish. It was one-sided. It was crap. Logan Paul won fair and square. And at the end of it, he was on the floor, Logan Paul's opponent, and Logan Paul jumped on the floor and gave him a punch. It was like WWE. It was ridiculous. And then the security got in there and the whole crowd filled up. You must have seen it. You must have seen clips. But the crowd, all security and all the team, corner team, all filled into the ring. And it was like a big riot in the ring. It was ridiculous. So that sort of thing wouldn't happen under the correct sanctioning bodies or under the British Boxing Board of Control. It wouldn't get to that stage. People would be banned. People would be losing their licenses. But it's all acceptable in this environment and on this MisFits Boxing, which is bad because if people are looking at this as professional boxing, they're going to see this and think, what's going off? It's like a free-for-all. It's like the Wild West. But that crap fight aside, we move on to KSI Tommy Fury, and it gets even worse. KSI made his ring entrance, green Lamborghini, looked nice. All the kids would have been impressed by that. He got into the ring. Tommy Fury come in first. I think he did. I wasn't paying that much attention, but I did watch the fight. The fight itself was absolutely fucking diabolical. It was so bad. It was crap. It was probably the worst fight I've ever seen. It wasn't competitive. Neither of them wanted to really throw a punch because for fear of getting hit back. I suppose KSI tried a little bit, but I don't know what he was doing. He was bouncing on the floor, like doing this. I don't know if you can see me, but it was like doing star jumps in the middle of the ring in front of Tommy Fury, just waiting and just doing this star jump with his arm, waving his arms around, flapping them around like I don't even know like what, but it wasn't boxing. And he was trying to time Tommy on the way in with a 1-2. every now and again, KSI landed one punch, probably 1 or 2 punches through the whole 6 poxy round. I mean, if this is this all these guys can do, 6 rounds, at least give us 8 or 10 rounds. But anyway, KSI stood back, flapping his arms around like a lunatic, don't even know what he was doing, but he was trying to set up a 1-2 or throw a right-hand pot shot. Every now and again, he hit Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury was just stood there looking at him, trying to back him up, but there was no feints, there was no footwork, there was no head movement. It was just like, all that happened was, KSI pot shotted, sometimes he landed, sometimes he didn't, and then they came together for a hug fest. They was just grabbing each other. So, round after round after round, the referee was appalling as well. The referee should stand in and separate them. But round after round was these two guys, Tommy Fury and KSI, coming together in a clinch. Tommy was punching him in the back of the head, which he got a point deducted for, and KSI was bitching and moaning, looking around. It wasn't a boxing match. It was an absolute shit show. It was rubbish. There was no technique. There was no skills. There was nothing. It was like a nothing fight. I've seen better white collar fighters, much better white collar fighters, because at least in a white collar fight, they stand in front of each other and they try and land shots, they try and hit each other with actual boxing punches, like proper punches, not professional punches on the chin and the body. These two guys were out of each other's way, hugging each other all night, and nothing was happening. It was boring round after round, and I can't believe, actually, that I don't know what the people think when they're there. They go there, they pay the money, they sit there, the whole build-up's good. Like I said earlier, the pyrotechnics are good.
Can I just stop you? What you did say this morning was the event itself was incredible. It
Yeah.
was like a big fight.
Exactly.
It was like a big fight. But then you go and you watch this. Is it disappointing?
Listen,
Do you think it's disappointing for people?
Very disappointing. I think it's disappointing. It's had a real big fight feel to it. You've got Michael Buffer there announcing them. Like I say, the ring entrances were good. And then you've got the actual quantity and the quality of the fight is just so bad. It's cringy to watch. It's like, what are these two guys doing? It's so bad. It's appalling. Anybody who's seen it will agree. I think all the response on YouTube comments and on the Instagram reels that have gone out, everybody agrees how shit it was. And then they've got the audacity at the end of it to have an argument and say, oh, look, you've got a mark on your face. Oh, look, I hit you more than you hit me. Oh, you was trying to hit me with a jab. The argument at the end was like, you just had 6 rounds, 18 minutes of trying to hit each other, and all you did was kind of run, and then when you got in range, you stood and held each other. Now you want to have a fucking argument about who's hit who and who's won. I don't think anybody should have won. I think it should have been a draw. Maybe Tommy Fury just won because maybe he landed 1 or 2 messy, horrible punches. But KSI did land a couple of clean right hands throughout the whole contest, 1 or 2 right hands. The whole fight was rubbish, and I think this needs to end. I think this needs to be the end of MisFits Boxing, or the end of whatever it is they're doing, because I don't see how anybody feels like they could have got value for money on that kind of performance.
So, based on the quality of performance last night, where do you think MisFits Boxing is going?
Where do I think this is going? Well, I hope it's going nowhere, and I hope it's hit a brick wall, and that's going to be the last we ever have to see of this MisFits Boxing absolute crap, because that's what it is. I'm sorry. There was a couple of fights earlier on, apparently, that was a little bit more competitive and was punching lumps out of each other. But when people are paying money for a main event, they want to see a boxing fight, or they want to see some kind of a show. The Logan Paul fight was crap, and the Tommy Fury KSI fight was absolutely diabolical. It was awful. And actually, the response I've seen on Instagram and YouTube...
Even last night, where you were?
Exactly, where I was last night. Well, on Instagram and YouTube, there was all negative comments, no positive comments on that performance and that show. And last night, I was in a bar in town, the South Bank bar, actually, and the crowd in there was pretty young, like probably 17, 18, or was it 18? What's the legal age to drink? 18 years old, let's say, 18 upwards. So they're kids in my eyes. I'm a 46-year-old man. And all them young kids in there, mostly boys, there's a few girls in there, really watching it and fixated on it and getting excited for it. They all booed. They was booing during the fight and they booed after. And then they was talking to me after getting selfies and wanted a picture of the Hall of Fame ring, obviously. They know who I am, the Cobra. 80,000 got dropped a few times. Hang on, 80,000 got dropped a few times last night. I was getting sick of it. But they was all saying, oh my God, what would you do to him? Can't you just beat Jake Paul up? Can't you fight Tommy Fury? I was like, listen, I'm not that lucky and they're not that stupid. But they're starting to realise. So I think the penny is finally dropping. I don't know if it's dropped yet, but I think people are starting to realise this whole build-up, this whole headbutting and punching the perspex screen, shouting and screaming at each other, chucking microphones at each other, bringing boxing into disrepute, and then going in there and actually not even being able to perform. It's like going to Wembley Stadium, let's say Wembley, sold out football match for a Champions League final, and the referee blows the whistle, as I say, rings the bell. And then these guys start kicking the ball about and falling over, and they can't kick the ball, they can't sprint, they've got no ability to tackle, and it's like watching not even Sunday League. Now imagine, so that the whole event and the whole show screams class and screams glamour and screams a big event, Michael Buffer, let's get ready to rumble, and then the bell goes, and they start holding each other and swinging and slapping. It's just total anticlimax, load of crap, it needs to end.
So if Tommy Fury was going to turn his back on MisFits Boxing and go into a professional boxing match now, levels-wise, where do you think he would be?
Tommy Fury is a real novice professional. He's not got any amateur experience. I don't even know if he had a handful of amateur fights. And he's shown his limitations. And doing this MisFit stuff with people like KSI and who else did he fight? Jake Paul. He fought something. Yeah, it was Jake Paul, wasn't it? He beat Jake Paul. This is holding him up, and this is making him go backwards, and it's giving him bad habits. And if he's serious about being a professional fighter, which, listen, if I was him, I wouldn't be. The money he's made on them 2 fights, maybe if he can nick another fight at this sort of MisFits bollocks, then why not make some more money? And fair play to him. Him and his wife, is it Molly May? They're doing really well between them. They're a lovely couple. I've got nothing against Tommy at all, but he can't box. He's not a professional boxer. He's not even anywhere near British level yet. He's only 24 years old. So if he wanted to grind it out and graft it through and get the sparring and take the professional boxing game seriously, he's got to start from scratch. He's got to start from the beginning, but I don't think he'll even go anywhere near it. He's doing well, doing what he's doing. But like I said, I think the penny's dropped, and I think this is, and it should be the end of MisFits Boxing. So that's it for another episode of Froch on Fighting. Why can't one of these misfitters, why can't a Jake Paul or a Logan Paul or a KSI call out the Cobra and let me just end it for them? I'll do it for free. I'm telling you now, I'll do it for nothing. I'm not looking for dollar. Let Jake Paul thinks I'm skint. Mate, you got the wrong Carl Froch. I'm doing all right. Anyway, this has been Froch on Fighting with me, Carl Froch. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time.